One right here next to me.
Come on in and meet Dave.
Grab a refill while I'm up.
Yeah.
Good morning. Come on in.
Be fun. It's always fun to give your opinion. Have somebody to
Yeah.
Where do you want me to sit?
Anywhere you want. As you can see, I baked this morning, so you can help yourself. Grab a seat wherever you're comfortable.
These are great chairs. I've seen them in other people.
We should sit together. Sit together. Here.
You need to hear, I can sit.
We're good.
Come on in.
Boy, this is more people you get in than you get at a White Sox game, isn't it?
Well, I'd rather hear about the Cubs.
Yes.
I'm a Cubs fan. Yeah. From the beginning.
Because we're up here, therefore they're not going to give me anything else.
All right, there's one up here. There's one right there. Do we need another one?
Harvey, why don't you sit here?
Okay. Do we need more chairs?
One more. One more.
One more chair? We're down, we're short one?
One over here.
Yeah, that one I think my colleague may join me. Let me grab one more chair.
One more chair.
I think one more chair.
Sure, I didn't count right.
That's okay. Oh,
I was going to say there's one with a jacket on, it's right up here, but that's your chair.
that's mine, yeah. There's a gentleman behind us who may come up front to join us.
Ah.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to play musical chairs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I picked on you. Where should I mute it? Here we go.
I feel like I'm waiting for a pizza.
For what? A pizza?
Pizza, yes.
Sorry about that. Obviously, I didn't write
All right, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to ask you, rather than that right in front of you, I've got to be able to see your names. Maybe you can kind of point at it like, yeah, point them like that. That's
You
perfect.
should have had a name tag.
I know, exactly. You guys,
Or a ribbon.
just point these a little bit more over here so I can see your names. That's perfect. Excellent, thank you. All right. Everybody comfortable?
You know, I don't want to get too comfortable.
No, exactly. Well, I want to thank you first for being here. My name's Dave Martino. I'm not from the area. I'm from Connecticut. I'm hoping I get home tonight with the weather. If not, I'm going to call one of you and I'll be staying at your house tonight. So, hope the food's good. So, a couple of quick things, housekeeping-wise. If you need to get up and leave the room, just go right ahead and do it. I know they asked me, you guys want to leave your cell phones on, that's fine. This is going to be a very comfortable, just exchange of ideas. This is not a high-pressure focus group. I don't have a agenda that needs to get to a bottom line. There's the first phone went off. Perfect. So I really want you to feel that you can express your ideas and thoughts. I'm going to get into a little bit more about what we're going to cover today. I know they didn't really tell you in the phone screening process what you were coming here for, but I do appreciate you being here. First and foremost, show of hands, Cubs or White Sox?
Cubs.
All right, good.
White Sox.
There you go. I've actually
I'm not a South Sider either.
You're not a South Sider. I've actually been coming to Chicago for business for 25 years. I had a business in Connecticut, and we had lots of clients in the greater Chicagoland area. My brother lives in Elmhurst, so I've spent a lot of time in your beautiful city and your area here. And the question that I ask myself every time I come here is, what's wrong with the Bears? I mean, what? You know, I grew up in an era where my father was a big Packer fan. And
wow.
Well, wait, so just to challenge him, I became a Bear fan, right? And I'm talking, 60s era-ish. So lived through the Ditka era and, had a little bit of bravado like you guys, but now it's like, come on, man, right? What's going on?
We got Loyola, that's what we've got, right?
Yeah.
We got Sister Jean and
Well,
Loyola.
if they don't make a mess of Mitch, maybe things will get a little bit better, right? How many people were wearing the Trade Jay Cutler T-shirts while that was going on for a while, right? Okay, so there's no bad answers today. There's no right answers either, actually. This is really more opinion. I did a focus group session in Connecticut, same topic, last week. And I likened it very much to a fashion show. There's some things that I'm going to ask you that are somewhat specific, but it's really very much just about your opinion and your thoughts and your ideas. So I know they didn't specifically ask you in that recruitment process again about why you were here, but I'm going to tell you that I represent a business in the local Chicagoland area that is trying to evaluate their company name and their company logo, essentially. And so we're going to talk a little bit about who they are and what they do, and I'm going to sort of level set some thoughts for you to consider before I start showing, and we'll show them to you right on the TV screen. So how many people here live in their home still? They don't live in none of you live in a retirement community, right?
Oh, no.
Oh, you do? You live in a retirement?
No.
You live in a home? Right.
Well, it's a condo.
Right, but I mean, it's okay.
Well, I sold my house and moved into a
Oh,
condo.
you did? Okay, good. So how many of you lived in your current home for more than 5 years? Okay, more than 10. More than 20. More than 30? Wow. Are any 40-year people? Wow, okay.
Wow, 39.
You guys aren't going anywhere. Okay.
No, we're very transient.
55.
55 years? Wow, that's great. Are you all native Chicagoans? All Chicagoland, right? Nobody moved in from out of state?
Who would?
Who would? Well, I don't know, is it weather or taxes? Which is it?
As long as it's awesome.
Right. So how many people have friends that have left their home and are now living in some type of retirement community environment? Okay. And so quickly around the room, we'll start over here. What kind of environment are they living in?
My friend is now living in an assisted living.
Assisted living.
He has senior living and assisted living.
Okay.
But he had to move into the assisted living.
He had to move there?
Yeah.
Health-wise?
Yeah.
Yep. Anybody else? Friends or family?
Oh, family.
Family?
My sister's in assisted living.
Assisted living?
Yeah.
Yep.
We have friends who live in sort of assisted living as well. They actually have some caregivers now living with them.
Yep. Where are they?
Chestnut Square.
Okay.
Up in Glen.
Senior living
Where are they?
in Florida.
Florida? Out of state? Yep.
No, same.
Same.
Same. Oh, same. Okay.
Senior living.
Senior living?
Multi-level, all levels, Evanston.
In Evanston? What's the name of the place?
3 Crayons Park.
Okay.
And, I call it the Presbyterian home, it's Westminster.
Okay. So, what's your familiarity with retirement communities? When I do these kinds of interviews, and I should say I also have an 85-year-old dad and an 84-year-old mother who have downsized twice and are now in a condo as well. So, when you think of retirement communities and you think of retirement living or senior living, what are the things that come to your mind? What kinds of either names of organizations or locations or types of environments? You've already mentioned assisted living, which tends to be very much a catch-all phrase. So what other things come to mind to you?
A friend of mine lives in the Glen.
Yeah?
He has a home, essentially a 2-level home,
Yeah?
and he has the ability, if he's feeling ill, he gets immediate care.
Yeah.
And they have a central building which provides him with almost like a hospital situation.
Mm-hmm. And that's where the Glen?
It is at the south end of the Glen,
Glenview.
Glenview?
Is it
Where the naval air
line?
station used to be.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, well,
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
But that's just a small portion of the Glen that has that.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's that one
all
facility.
kinds of things.
Right, right,
There are other parts of the Glen that have just ordinary condos and
right,
so on.
right. Anybody else, any other things? Ann?
Money, money, money.
What does that mean?
Ferociously expensive.
Ferociously
Yes,
expensive.
yes.
Compared to what?
If the seniors were able to still remain at home.
Okay,
If.
yeah.
Number two, the changeover in ownership. I see so much of this where one place is sold, one is not. I have an 85-year-old brother that was up in Glenview in rehab twice
Yeah,
in the last 4 months, and the weekend help for rehab,
terrible.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes, and people not showing up.
right.
I would, because of my economic situation, I don't know where I would end up.
Right. Interesting.
Not at
Are
all.
you, and again, if you don't, if I ask you something and you don't want to answer it, you can just say, I don't want to answer it. That's fine. I don't want you to feel, I mean, you're all strangers amongst each other, so I don't want you to feel that, so are you in the process of making plans
No.
for yourself? No. Okay.
Yeah, I will be forced out of our building.
You'll be forced
Because
out.
it's all being rehabbed.
Okay.
Somebody bought the property, and he's taken all the old apartments, and they're being done. I will have 1 more year there.
Okay.
And then I don't know what I'll do.
Then you'll do something else. Yeah.
Well, I have long-term care insurance.
Okay, good.
3 years.
How many other people have long-term care insurance? 1, 2, 3? 3?
Yeah,
Okay,
because I don't want anybody to have, I don't want my kids to have to take care of me.
right.
I don't want to live with them, I want to be on my own.
You already lived with them once, right?
What?
You already lived with them
I
once.
know, and I don't want them to have responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm in the same
At all.
boat.
Yeah.
And I've had my long-term care insurance for a number of years. My husband passed away 14 years ago, almost 14 years ago, and I bought it actually then, which was a lot less expensive than it is now, of
Right.
course. And I bought it because I didn't want my children to have to be responsible to have to take care of me, and I have to take care of my parents, so
Right.
I didn't want to do that to my kids.
Right. Just keep in mind, I'm not a long-term care expert
Yeah.
or insurance agent, but long-term care insurance is just that. It only writes the check. It doesn't, it's not a place.
Right, I know, you have
Okay,
to pick a
yeah.
place.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
But I can stay at home if I want and have somebody come and actually
That's
live in
true.
my home
Yeah.
with me.
right.
I mean, I had my financial planner help me pick out
Yep,
the one that was gonna work for me.
okay. Yep,
Well, and I really, I don't want to go into a retirement village. I'd rather go into a, if we ever sell our house, which we better. Anyway, I'd rather go into a condo that we buy in downtown Skokie, because it's
Mhm.
very diverse there, and you can walk to the
Yeah.
Oakland College, and you can walk all over.
now when you say I don't want to go into a retirement village, why is that?
I don't know, because I don't know, I want a diverse community. I don't know how diverse these communities are.
Diverse in what sense?
In the color,
Ages.
ages, everything.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I like Skokie, because it's very diverse. and-
Right. Yeah, I actually saw it on the list here. We have a number of towns in the area. We have Skokie, Northbrook, Glenview, Evanston, Morton Grove, Des Plaines, Arlington Heights, and Highland Park.
Mhm.
Which one of those is the farthest from here?
Highland
Highland Park? Who's from Highland Park? You're Anthony?
Yes,
Okay. And in terms of distance, is that miles or time? How far away roughly?
4 o'clock in the morning, is 15 minutes away.
Hey, everything in Chicago is 15 minutes away at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Probably 15 miles,
15 miles? Yeah,
approximately.
okay. And what's the closest? We're in, what's that? Skokie,
Yeah,
right?
less
yeah,
than
yeah.
5 minutes to get.
Okay. And Northbrook is probably what?
10 miles.
7 miles, 10
12
miles?
miles.
Yeah, okay. Are these mostly the towns you grew up into in the areas here?
No,
or
no,
everybody-
Chicago.
No.
Where?
East Rogers Park, Chicago.
Okay. Anybody else?
West
North
Rogers
New
Park,
Jersey.
West Rogers.
Deerfield.
What's that?
Newark, New
Deerfield.
Jersey.
New Jersey?
Newark.
Newark.
Wow.
New Jersey, wow.
Fight or flight.
You're closer to me then, right? Yeah. Newark, yeah.
Newark.
Home of Tony Soprano, right?
Newark, any Newark.
Yeah. Newark, yeah.
I grew up in Waukegan.
Waukegan, yeah.
Evanston.
Where, Evanston?
Evanston.
Yeah, okay, good. So, you live, the retirement community market out here in this greater town area is very diverse, and there appears to be a lot of different retirement community choices. And I guess I've sort of gotten ahead of myself here. One of the things that we're here to talk about is this retirement communities, and one particular client here that I'm working with, and their name and their logo, corporate identity. We're going to be talking about that a little bit. So, when you, as you are out and about in your local areas here, can anybody give me the names of some of the familiar brands of retirement communities in your areas?
Lincolnwood Place.
Yeah.
Brookdale.
Brookdale.
Lincolnwood Place.
Hang on, I can't write that fast. Brookdale.
Brookdale has places all over the area.
Yeah.
They're
It
not
does,
just
my sister.
where.
What's the other?
Lincolnwood Place.
Lincolnwood Place.
The
Sedgwick. Real close by.
Hold on, Lincolnwood Place, the V, what else?
Sedgwick.
Sedgebrook,
The Mather home.
Oh, yeah.
Mather.
Mather,
There's
yeah.
some place in downtown Evanston.
That's Mather.
Oh, is that
That's
Mather?
$1 million
Okay.
Mather.
The Marion.
$1 million Mather, yeah.
Kidwitz.
Marion, yeah.
There's one on the borderline of Morton Grove and Glenview,
Belmont
like if you're
Village.
coming, Belmont Village.
Belmont Village, yep,
That's right.
And of course Chestnut Square.
yeah.
And
Anybody have any friends that live in any of these?
Oh, and I would add to that, I think it's called Westminster now, but it was Presbyterian homes, and they're all around.
Yeah, oh yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, my friend lives in Brookdale,
Brookdale, yeah.
the one in Des Plaines. he
Right.
lives at.
Anybody have any friends, relatives, acquaintances that live in any of the names that you just,
Yeah.
the V, you have friends that live there? Yeah,
Lincolnwood Place.
Lincoln
Oh,
Place,
Lieberman.
Oh, that's right, Lieberman.
Lieberman
yeah,
Place, near the hospital. So
okay.
I have a friend from high school there.
There's another one in near Arlington, Moorings. The Moorings with two O's.
Oh, that's right. Isn't that
I have a
Presbyterian?
friend who lives there.
Yep. And tell me, what do you know, like your friend at the Glen or Don, your friend at the Moorings, I mean, what precipitated their decision to make a move there? I mean, we know assisted living, we know why people go
Yes.
to those places, right?
In his case, his wife died,
Yep,
and his 5 sons moved away.
Right.
They're all married and have children
right,
of their own, and he wanted a nice place to live.
right.
And they chose that place, which was just being offered at the time. He got it at a very good price.
Right, okay. So, the names that you mentioned, most of them I'm familiar with, especially Sedgebrook, Mather, Marion, the V, Brookdale. How, if you don't really have a lot of friends that, or any friends or associates that are living there, how did you become knowledgeable of those communities? Was it their advertising? Do you get their direct mail? Internet? So you were searching for it?
Yes, if you want to find it, I would search on the internet.
Yeah. How many people have, on one random day, gone online and said, I think I'll go out there and see what's out there for retirement communities? You ever just hit Google and go retirement communities, Northbrook? No?
No.
Not top of mind?
No.
Well, I was at Mather Home with a girl, one of my girlfriends. I don't know, she had heard that they were offering, I don't know if you've ever heard of Pino's Palette, where you drink wine. And anyway, they were offering this, and we ended up going. There was no charge, and it was wonderful. The place was beautiful. It had where we did the painting. It was like in an all-glass room with wonderful light. And
Right.
they served us wonderful hors d'oeuvres, and shrimp, and as many glasses of wine as we wanted.
Yeah.
And but they're, you know, I figured, well, they're going to take us on a tour first and try and sell us, but they didn't.
Yeah,
And they had 2 new apartment models.
right.
And anyway, the place was beautiful, and, you know, neither of us really are ready for that.
What does that mean
We
when you
figured-
say I'm not ready for that? I mean, you're describing it as,
Well,
sounds
it
like a
was,
really nice place.
Yeah, you could come and go as you pleased.
Right.
But we had the feeling that it would be outrageously expensive,
Mhm.
and we're just not wanting.
Was it the
We're
opulence that you
happy
saw?
enough
Yeah,
where we are, that
Yeah.
we don't feel that we need to spend that kind of money to
right.
be comfortable.
Until you have to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot, my mother was at the Breakers, and there's still the Breakers.
There is?
Chicago,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
My mother-in-law was there.
There's one in Palm Beach.
Down on Foster.
Remember they played
No.
cards and they had wonderful
Sheridan Road, yeah.
There's friends that moved into Chestnut Square.
Yeah.
She was convinced to go over there because they served food. She didn't have to cook anymore.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
What's a good reason?
And once she got in, she really didn't like it. She would have rather had her own cooking.
Really?
It was a $200,000 just for the 2-bedroom that they did.
Right.
Yeah.
And they did sell their condo at Depot Square for
Right.
that amount, so they managed to do that. I think they had some good investments too,
Right.
which helps pay for 2 caregivers, 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Has anybody else ever attended an event at one of these retirement communities, just to, whether it was a social event or it was, and you are
Harvey.
Harvey. Have you ever attended any events there?
Yes.
And what was that like?
Very nice. It was a catered dinner,
Yep.
kind of recruiting.
Yeah. Recruiting. Yeah. And where was this? Which one?
Sagebrook.
Sedgebrook. Yep. hmm And what was your impression of that, having gone?
I was impressed.
Really?
I was looking for my mother-in-law at the time, and they had a lot of amenities that she enjoyed.
Right. Okay. Anybody else?
There's another category that you didn't touch on. There's a place called Park Place in West Rogers Park, and it's for people that want kosher food.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
So it's a Jewish community?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kosher.
Okay. Of these names that we've talked about here, or even in some of the other that maybe you're not thinking of right now, how frequently do you associate a faith-based or religious relationship with that organization, like a Mather or a Sedgebrook or any of those? I think somebody mentioned.
Three Crowns is.
Say again?
Three Crowns is one that
Yep. Is that faith, or is that owned by a church?
I think so.
No.
No?
I don't think, no.
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 It was.
Long ago.
Long ago? Yeah. Okay.
We went through a restructuring. I used to do M&A for CCRC Foundation in Evanston.
You did?
As part of my, I've built nursing homes, I've acquired retirement communities, and as part of my due diligence, I've probably toured 35 to 40 nursing homes, including the one that Kennedy was at in Wisconsin. So.
Wow. Okay. Great. He's been keeping that a secret, hasn't he?
Yeah. There is a religious base, yes. Up in Libertyville, Adolorata Villa.
What's it called?
Adolorata Villa.
Adolorata?
Adola, A-D-O-R-O-L-L-A-T-A, Adolorata Villa. It's a wonderful place.
Sunrise.
Yep, Sunrise is another one. That's not faith-based.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I'm not sure what it is.
There's Huntley,
Gidwitz is
isn't there?
faith-based.
What's that?
Gidwitz in Deerfield, that's faith-based.
What is it again?
Gidwitz.
Gidwitz.
Yeah, I think
Gidwitz.
so.
Adolorata is Catholic.
Yes.
And you have Whitehall up there also in Deerfield.
Covenant Village in Northfield is faith-based.
Well, there you go. Now somebody finally said it. That's who we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Covenant retirement communities. But before we do, I'm going to show you these logos. And we're going to talk a little bit about brand identities and logos. How many people are familiar with those logos, those brands up there, right?
Yes.
All of them?
Yes.
How many people have had a personal experience at Starbucks?
Oh, experience.
How many people have had one with Dunkin' Donuts? Okay. Disney? Yeah. Marriott? Yep. BMW? Never drove a BMW, sat in a BMW, got a ride in a BMW? Sure, right? You're familiar with BMW? And how many people have a trusty old Apple device somewhere in their home? Okay. So one of the interesting factors about these brands and these logos is that you've had some type of experience with their product or their service, and you came away with some perception or experience that has colored your perception of those logos. So when you see the Starbucks logo, what comes to mind? Coffee, but overpriced. There's the man from New Jersey. There you go.
My cousin's son-in-law was a big mocker, or whatever you want to call it, in Starbucks. He just recently retired, so I know it from that.
You're from that perspective?
Yes, I'm a family member.
Okay. And how about Dunkin' Donuts? What's your perception when you see that?
Fat. Yes,
Fat?
right.
Fat.
And
Fat?
good food.
Fat loaded with fat?
F-A-T.
Good donuts.
I eat, I get fat.
They used to give, until last week, Dunkin' Donuts, you could go in there if you were an art member,
Yeah.
you got a free donut.
Oh, I didn't know that.
However, all of a sudden, plus they got this size
Yeah.
for $1.50 from.
There you go. Oh, you got a double D right there, right? That's a
Yeah.
Dunkin' Donuts?
But
There you go.
So it's $1.50 from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And the ones I go to, they have it ready, they just know me. But all of a sudden, last week, I was at one in Skokie on a Monday, and I went to the one in Glenview on Tuesday, and they said, we took down all the signs. No more art-free donuts.
Oh, boy.
Now why?
They don't want people getting each other.
Oh, they don't want you to get fat.
No, and what
No,
kills
no,
me
no.
is that company, when they close their stores
Yeah.
at night, I was in the other night, on Sunday night, at 6:45, every donut not sold goes
Yeah.
into the huge garbage bags to the
Oh, it
dumpsters.
doesn't get to.
Oh, they should have
They
donated.
don't give it to hungry kids.
Well, somebody's got a negative perception of Dunkin' Donuts.
I mean, do not throw food out, please.
Yeah,
At
right.
least not one.
How about Disney?
How about it?
We've been there.
What's your perception of Disney when you think about it?
Very expensive.
Expensive, right?
But fun.
But fun.
Yeah.
Expensive but fun. Don?
I'm going to say nice, guaranteed nice.
Guaranteed nice. That's good.
Happy.
Yeah.
I think it's happy.
Family oriented.
Family, yeah. How about Marriott? What do you think of when you think of Marriott?
Well,
Well run.
He's probably more expensive.
Well run? Is that what somebody said? Well run? Yeah.
Mormons.
Mormon.
I would say average
What?
to
Marriott.
above average.
Average to above
There's
average?
So many different
Yeah.
types of
So-
music.
You're right. And how about BMW?
Nice.
Nice.
Mormon church still.
Expensive again? Yeah.
No.
Right.
Only.
And Apple, what do you think of when you see the Apple brand?
Good.
Computer, cell phone.
Good product, overpriced.
Good product overpriced.
Great service.
Good investment.
Good investment. Ah, that's a smart, yeah.
Great service.
Right. Good. Okay. So we are here to talk about retirement communities. We're here to talk about Covenant retirement communities. I was kind of surprised that given the locations that you guys live in, that we only had one person bring up the Covenant brand name. Are amongst all of you, are you familiar with the Covenant retirement communities brand name?
No.
Let's go around the room.
Yeah.
Yes?
No.
No?
Yes. No.
No?
Me?
No.
No?
No.
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 Is it in Northbrook?
Yes.
Okay, I've just driven by, that's all.
You've driven by it? Sir?
No.
Not familiar
No.
with it? Nobody else is? Not familiar with it?
Driven
You are
by
familiar?
it. Driven by it.
Yeah, okay. So you don't know anything about Covenant retirement communities? You're not, okay.
It's big,
Say again?
it's big,
It's big
up there in Northbrook.
in Northbrook, yeah. So, is anybody familiar with the Covenant Church in the area? No? When we talk about the Covenant Church, obviously that's a denomination of Christianity, right? Amongst all of you, what is your faith orientation, if I may ask? If you have any.
Jewish.
Christian. Yeah, but Christian.
Christian?
Jewish.
Okay.
None.
Anybody else? Don, or anybody care to say?
I'm a humanist.
Catholic.
Catholic?
Sort of Christian.
That's
Sort of
Christian.
Christian? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to show you two brand-new retirement community names and logos that I just stumbled upon in the last couple days on the next slide here. What do you think of when you see those two names? What is it? Do they mean anything to you? Nothing?
Human good means, it's like,
Home goods?
no,
No.
it's just, I can't explain.
Home and
Human
good
good
infinity.
has a meaning, covia
Human good
has no
infinity.
meaning.
The one on the
Mean
left
it?
is easier to read, the one on the right for me.
Harder to read?
And this one, yeah, because those two O's are
Yeah.
faded out.
It's
It
like
doesn't-
crystallizing something, human good, what is that?
When I see Human Good, I think of Human Simple, the brand.
Oh, yeah,
for
sure. Yeah,
rice
yeah,
paper
yeah, yeah,
cans
yeah.
and things
Right.
like that. I don't
Yeah.
think of.
So as a consumer, how important is it to you that when you see a brand name or a logo, that you easily understand what that brand represents? You know, we talked about Starbucks and some of the others. How important is that?
Very
I
important.
think it's very important.
It is. It needs to convey, it needs to say what it is, and
Right.
you need to understand essentially
And you've
what
had
it is.
experience
If you're
with it.
grocery shopping, that works.
Yeah.
If you're trying to sell a product like a CCRC, I don't see how it has any bearing.
I
You know-
agree with that.
Why is that?
Because you're not comparing 20 other things for it to jump out at you when you're looking for a retirement community.
But when
Whereas
you're,
in your
if you,
grocery store, you're
but if you open up your mailbox and you see 5 different postcards from 5 different brands, if you open up your mailbox on any given day and you saw a Sunrise postcard, a Mather postcard, a Sedgebrook postcard, a Belmont Village postcard, and a Covenant Village of Northbrook postcard, what would you do? I mean, it happens.
Oh, I do, I get
You
that.
see it all the time, right? Yeah, okay, there you go. So that's just like being in a grocery store. I got 5 to choose from.
And I recycle all 5.
You don't read them?
No,
No,
I don't.
No. Anybody read retirement community marketing
No.
materials?
No.
You have to be in the market for something. I
Yeah.
Think so?
To really
Yeah.
say,
When I
oh,
was-
this may, check it out.
When I was helping to find a place for my friend, I researched them and I looked at everything I could get my hands on.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, I had no interest.
Right. So what's your perception of you know, we talked a little bit about your faith orientation, some Jewish people here, some I heard some Catholics, some just overarching Christian, any other Episcopal, Lutheran, Methodist, any of you? No?
That's Christian.
Excuse me?
That's Christian.
It is Christian, but it's a specific denomination of Christianity. Anybody else? No? So if you were going to make a decision to go to a retirement community, how important would the owner of that retirement community be to you? Who owned it and who operated it? I think, Ann, you talked about
Adolorata.
the sale, excuse me?
I was talking about Adolorata.
You were also talking about the sales, the selling of, purchasing and selling of retirement communities. You said that earlier. Yep. You talked about a lot of them are for sale. Did I make that up? I thought I heard you say that. Somebody
said
There was a
Changing
lot of
ownership.
turnover.
Yeah, a lot of turnover. Were you talking about
I
the
said-
staff turnover?
No.
The ownership.
That's what I mean,
The
right, the ownership,
ownership. Oh, yeah.
right. So how important is steady ownership and,
To me, it's very important. I would want a not-for-profit owning the operation. And I also want to look at the books of the not-for-profit because one of the ones in Evanston that's been mentioned previously went through a tremendous shakeup and they were on very shaky ground for a while there.
right?
And, I've been asked to go into partnerships with some places that were basically Ponzi schemes put on by churches. And so it is very important to look at the financials standing behind it, but a not-for-profit is miles ahead of any for-profit institutions that I have experience with.
Yeah, I don't usually associate Ponzi schemes with churches.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting, yeah.
Oh, well, a lot of times they're unsophisticated and they put them together without realizing they put them together.
Okay, yeah.
It was not an overt
Right.
action on their part, but what they had designed was actually a Ponzi scheme.
Right.
And they thought they had invented this new way of making money.
Right. Interesting. Anybody else? No? Okay, so Covenant Retirement Communities. You see a basic typeface up there. What does that name say to you? What does it mean to you? Now, you don't have a lot of familiarity, right, with the Covenant Retirement Community name, but what is it actually, your immediate sort of response to that name? Is it positive, negative?
Well, it's covenant, means it's Christian kind of thing. Or-
Does it?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Religious based?
Yeah,
Well, you guys said you weren't
yeah.
familiar with the Covenant Church, so how could that name actually, until I
I
told
don't
you?
know, it's just the covenant, I don't know.
It just sounds religious?
It doesn't sound like a Yiddish term.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Christianity and Judaism are sort of related. Like, I
Right.
think of Covenant of the Ark,
Right.
which is from the Old Testament.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not,
It's not from the Old
being
Testament.
religious.
Yeah.
I don't
see it as a covenant.
I just don't wanna-
see it as a Christian.
So when you see that name, I mean, it says what they do, right? We talked about that earlier,
Yeah.
right? But if you're not, somebody else said if you're not shopping for a retirement community, you might not pay attention to it, right?
Right.
And you may or may not know the role of all advertisers is to get your attention first, right? I mean, if you're not in the market for a new car, used car, no matter how much advertising Ford does or Cadillac, you might not pay attention to it, right? Unless you're in the market for it. I imagine you're not reading the real estate ads except out of curiosity unless you're in the market for a new home, correct?
No,
Right.
no.
No, you read them? You do?
I'll look at them periodically. What's
Yeah.
going on around me? I
Okay.
don't want to know what my house is worth.
Yeah.
I read them all the time.
Yeah.
You do? You do?
The pictures, look at the pictures.
Is that a hobby or is it mostly curiosity?
Fun, just
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah.
I'd like
Okay.
to see what's out there.
You like to see what's out there. Okay, interesting. Do you attend open house and
No,
open
I
house just for the
haven't
sport of
gone
it?
that far. I haven't gone that far yet.
No, not yet. Okay.
And I don't care.
What's that?
I don't care the least about.
You don't care the least about it?
No, I mean, it's, we are together here.
Yep.
So it's strictly, I'm in a house, that's it.
That's
Yeah,
it.
Over and done with.
You're over and done.
Right.
Now, if it's time to move, then I would be interested in something.
What does that constitute, time to move?
Is
When you said it's time to move, what does that mean?
is if there was just one of us as a kind of.
So if there was a life event that changed your, right?
Yeah.
So are all of you planning on staying exactly where you are unless there's a life event that changes your life?
Well, life event is important, but also, like my daughter said to us, that she doesn't want to be morbid, but before we die, would we clean out the basement?
Maybe that's a little morbid.
Yes, that is a little morbid. But,
conversation.
yes,
Yeah.
I mean.
Believe me, I've had that one with my folks too, so.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't. No.
Yeah.
He's an engineer with nails, oh.
Yeah.
So that's an important thing.
It is, yeah, okay. Let's see. So that's Covenant's current logo, okay? That's their name and their current logo. And again, you told me you weren't that familiar with the Covenant name or the Covenant Church.
I am
right?
now.
You are now. Okay, interesting. So when you see this name and you see that logo, okay, I'm gonna kind of slow down our discussion a little bit, and I'm gonna kind of work from one end of the room to the other here. I can't see your name tag there. It's Phil, or is it Philip?
Phil.
Phil. So Phil, you seem to be pretty knowledgeable about the CRC, Continuing Care Retirement Community, CCRCs, and retirement communities. When you see that logo and that brand, what comes to mind?
Well, I look at it similar to the way I look at Presbyterian Homes. And they've got to be very much away from being their affiliation with the Presbyterian Church. They're more just kind of a generic, not-for-profit agency. And I would give them the same benefit of the doubt here as I give Presbyterian Home.
Meaning there's a separation between the church piece and the retirement community.
And the retirement community. And I would judge it based upon the quality of the retirement community piece.
So is that, the way you just described that, the separation from the church and the business of retirement communities, do you perceive that to be a positive or a negative in your mind?
I look at it as a positive.
Yeah.
You know, that they can do what they do on the church side, but if they're going to run and manage a community properly, I will certainly look at that because they're in my preference group
Yeah.
of being a not-for-profit,
Right.
running an agency. And
Right.
if they're financially sound, that's another step up.
Right. Okay. Ava?
Okay, I'm of the Jewish faith, and I would not personally want to move into a Jewish place, but I'd like to be in a more diverse place. But being in a Christian place would be as much of a turnoff to me as being in a Jewish place would be.
It would be?
Right.
And why is that?
Because
You don't feel included.
I want to.
You don't feel included, somebody
No,
said?
I'd rather have a more diverse community.
Yeah. So I heard a couple people also echo that, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Carol?
Well, I think some of them are pretty diverse, and they have all types of services.
Right. So you mentioned your familiarity with Covenant Village of Northbrook, right? You been there?
No, I have not.
No. Is it your, do you know anybody that lives there or has lived? No. So what's your perception of Covenant Village of Northbrook? Do you think it's
I've heard
diverse?
only good things
You've
about
heard good
it.
things? Yeah. And do you think it's diverse? Have you heard that it's diverse, the way you're describing diversity?
I have not.
You have not. Okay. Anita?
I'm of the Jewish faith too, and I agree with Ava. I would never feel comfortable going to a place like this, even though I know they're all non-denominational.
Are they?
So they say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. So is it something about that name or that logo that would say to you, that's probably not for me?
The logo.
What about the logo?
Definitely.
The cross?
The cross.
The cross?
Yes.
Okay. Phyllis?
I would like to be also diversified. An all-Jewish community doesn't sound good to me because I don't really love kosher food. So I would like to be where there's all kinds of people.
Right.
Where people celebrate Christmas, they celebrate Hanukkah.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Can I just add something?
Sure.
My husband is in a nursing home right now, and he's at Abington. I don't know.
Abington, I have heard of that, yeah.
Abington.
Yeah.
Okay, they have a diverse population over there, and they celebrate every holiday.
Yes.
Every holiday is an event over there.
Yep.
And it's wonderful.
Yeah. And if I may ask, and again, you don't have to answer it in front of the group, but why did you choose Abington for his nursing needs?
It's close to my home.
So proximity was important?
Yes, and
Yeah.
my mother was there in
Oh,
the
okay.
past.
Yeah.
And so I have good experience with them.
Okay, good.
And I know they do a good job.
Okay, great. And Charles? You mentioned that you're more familiar now that you've seen the...
I would not be in a covenant.
No.
No, I mean, I feel it's important to be Jewish, and I would not have kosher food either.
Okay.
But
I've had some Jewish retirement communities over the years, especially being in the Northeast, and we used to refer to that as Jewish light, right? I don't necessarily want to eat kosher, but I like, the Jewish experience, yeah.
Right.
What's that?
I think the taste is good, but kosher food is more expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Carol?
Okay, well, I was raised Christian, but I'm not a church goer. I have my own personal relationship with God. And, it really wouldn't influence me one way or the other, I don't think. My husband was Jewish. I have a lot of Jewish friends. And, my husband and I, we celebrated both the holidays with our respective families. And, I wouldn't object to being in a Jewish-oriented home as long as it wasn't kosher.
Kosher.
It had to be kosher.
Right, yeah. Okay. You feel the same way about a Christian community?
Yes.
Yeah.
But, it wouldn't, for me, it wouldn't be like a plus.
Right.
To
It wouldn't be a plus. Is that what you said?
Not really.
Okay.
Since I probably wouldn't go to the church services
Yeah,
anyway, since
right.
I don't attend church now.
Okay.
So.
All right. Mr. Newark?
At the risk of being thrown out of the group.
Don't say what you want.
Well, at least you're close to the door.
Yeah, right.
I would not be caught dead in a retirement community.
Why is that, sir?
because I do not want to live a regimented life
Yeah.
with people of my age.
Yep.
I want to be independent.
Yep.
And when I can't be independent, I want to be buried.
Okay.
Or
Yeah. So, two things. That you are then of the perception that a retirement community lifestyle is regimented, sir.
I've had
Fair?
relatives in retirement communities.
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
And may I ask what type of retirement community they were in?
At the time.
Was it a healthcare facility?
Combination,
Yeah.
some yes, some no.
Okay.
It was referred to as an old people's home.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not going to advertise for any of the brands that are up here or for Covenant, but I will tell you that perception is no longer valid. You come and go as you please, and there is no. They don't tell you when you have to eat or where you got to go.
Well, they tell you when meals are served.
Yeah, right.
Well, but that would be sort of like, if you were a member of a country club or, it's on the schedule. It doesn't mean you have to eat then. And
You don't have to eat?
But very often now there are multiple dining venues that allow you to grab and go. You can go up to the bistro and grab
Some places have their own kitchen,
Yes.
too,
Yeah.
in your
You can
apartment.
cook in here if you were so, or you can just get in your car and leave the campus and go wherever you want to go.
I'm reasonably familiar.
Okay.
Sagebrook, I've got a friend in.
Okay.
Sagebrook. It is absolutely not for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
You can stay.
You can stay.
You can stay.
I was hoping to get paid and thrown out.
Well, we're not done yet. We still have a little bit of time, so we'll work on that. Yeah. Sandra.
I would consider a retirement community, however, I don't like the logo with the cross, nor would I like it with a Jewish star.
Yeah.
Perhaps if it was a logo that encompassed every religion, that would be, but I would not even look at
Yeah.
this one.
So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what I'm hearing you say is that the name cross combination doesn't immediately connect with you because your views are
Right.
not as Christian as what that portrays?
Exactly.
Would that be a
yeah.
fair way to say
Yeah.
it? Okay. And Ann?
On the chance of getting thrown out.
Yeah.
I find this very, very interesting. And I don't want this taken the wrong way.
No, in this environment it can't be.
I love people, period.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe you.
I find
Yeah, why'd she look at you?
No, I like people. And my children, my adult children and
Yeah.
grandchildren, we're all inclusive.
Right.
So this person is, this group is all white.
Yeah.
This group is mainly Jewish, and this group is talking about religious retirement homes. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Well, I can tell you,
No.
we did not. Well, just one second, just for the sake of everybody in the room, when we made the outbound
Right.
calls and did the screening, we couldn't tell by your name whether you were a person of color or not.
Right.
Nor could we tell that you were,
Right.
Jewish or Catholic or anything else. It's
I
just
just
an
think
odd occurrence.
I know. Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
This area.
But it's the location.
It's this area.
Is it?
It's the location.
Okay.
It's all white Americans.
Like
Yeah.
Evanston.
Yeah.
So I think that our opinions are going to be somewhat similar,
Maybe.
maybe.
We'll see.
Um,
I'm counting on Arthur over here to mess up the group.
Okay.
What I really need to know right now.
That
Yeah.
sign, when I see something like that, and I volunteer at Three Crowns, and I've also volunteered for years at Midwest Hospice.
Okay.
And when I see that sign, it's telling the word covenant,
Yeah.
going back, I'm embarrassed to say I don't know my Old Testament, but there's something about that is going to see it's going to be peaceful.
Okay.
A covenant, an agreement.
An agreement. Interesting. Yeah.
The care,
Yeah.
and I can also look at the other side of the coin and saying that may be very exclusive.
Mhm.
But I know through hospice and through Three Crown and through the Presbyterian, there are many Jewish people that are in with all other different religions.
Sure, yeah, just like, yeah, exactly.
You know, and they've got their Seders and the,
right.
they do.
So did anybody else, I'm curious if anybody else saw the name Covenant and came up with that same agreement or bond idea? Did that resonate with you at all? Anybody else besides Ann? Did it connect with you immediately? No? Okay. Mr. Engineer?
Oh, I said it once, and you remember.
When
I can't see
the
his name.
cross,
Sai, okay.
when I see the cross, it implies to me a Christian emphasis,
Yep.
which, as was said before, is not what I would be aimed toward.
Not.
Even though I have a lot of Gentile friends. They don't push their
Right.
religion to me, I don't push my religion to them, but here it's saying we're a Christian organization.
Right.
And I would not be interested in looking at that.
Okay. And I can't see your name.
Ellie.
Ellie.
It says Ellie.
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 I don't want to live in like you, a retirement community. I want to live in a condo, like I said, maybe in downtown Skokie, where
Okay.
it's diverse and I can
Right.
walk through things.
Okay.
I mean, I could send out for Peapod, is that what it's called?
Yeah, but what about I respect that, but when you see that name.
It looks very Christian to
It does,
me, and
yeah.
that everybody
Okay.
there would be, Christian and.
Yeah.
Not that
Margot?
that's not-
I agree with a lot of what's been said, that I see that as a Christian kind of place,
Right.
and that would turn me off completely.
It would, okay. Are you a Christian?
No.
Not at all, okay. Arthur?
Well, I think I'd check out the place. If I was really looking for a nursing home or a retirement place, I would go and check it out and see what is it like.
Because?
Well,
Why?
because it may be, for instance, where these people live in Chestnut Square, I think it's a Methodist, but there's a lot of Jewish people there.
Mhm.
And really, you don't see any signs that you're going to have to be preached to at some point.
Right.
As
Okay.
part of being a Christian. So the other one was Bethany Terrace.
Yeah.
And my grandfather was over there for a while until he got pneumonia and he died.
Right.
But that was also Christian. I don't know if it still is.
Yep.
But they never seem to preach anything over there as well.
Okay. And Don?
Well, if we were looking for a retirement community or a home or a facility, big decision. We'd have a bunch of brochures on a kitchen table, and say I was going through it and I saw Covenant. Okay, it's Christian, I don't know how much. Don't care how much is the cost. That's number one.
Ah, okay.
If it was in our ballpark figure, well, how Christian is it? Is it any good? You
Yeah.
start getting other facts.
Okay, interesting.
But
Yeah.
how much? Is this, so all these other things, I don't care about at this point.
You don't? Okay, interesting. And Harvey?
I kind of agree with my colleagues. I think the cross in the logo sends a message to me that this is oriented toward Christian people.
Yeah.
Rather than a lot of different diverse people. But that may be where they're aiming.
Right.
That may be exactly what
they're looking
trying
for?
to recruit.
Sure. Okay. And you are?
Sharon. It just wouldn't be in my comfort zone.
No? Because why?
That I would feel if it wasn't inclusive.
Inclusive enough?
Yeah.
So, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but does that mean that when you see a cross or you see the name Covenant, it means it's not inclusive? It feels less inclusive?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Can
So-
I add something?
Yeah.
What is that, what is, with the logo and the name of it, how does the care differ from one that is non-Christian? How is the care? And
Well, you tell me what your perception would be.
Don't know.
Okay, so we're gonna do a little exercise here, and Phil is clearly has the most experience with the brand category, so I don't know whether to include him or not include him in these questions. But we've got Brookdale Lincoln Place, the V, Sedgebrook, Mather, Marion, Belmont, Westminster, Moorings, the Breakers, Chestnut Square, Park Place, Three Crowns, Sunrise, Adirola, is that it? Adolorada. Okay, so we've got all those communities. And as Phil sort of educated us, you know, some of those are not-for-profit organizations and may or may not be connected with a church, right? Okay. Then there are some others, like a Sunrise or Brookdale, which are not-for-profits, and they are for-profits. Okay. So if you had, for whatever reason, a life-changing event, and I don't mean just an illness, I'm not sure what it would be, but if something were to change your current perception, okay, of retirement communities, maybe your best friend or neighbor or sister or brother or relative decided they were going to move into a retirement community and they really wanted you to move in as well. If you had to choose between a retirement community organization that was a not-for-profit versus a for-profit, which would you choose? See, it's interesting because Don is saying in one sense, it's all about price. Nothing else matters. Okay?
No.
It's starting with
price is number one.
Price is number one. My bad.
After that, we start looking.
My bad. You're correct. Yes, I'm sorry. So if you had to choose between a not-for-profit owned organization or a for-profit owned organization, do you have one way or another?
Not-for-profit.
Not-for-profit?
Right.
Anybody else? Phil? Phil knows. He's not, believe me, I didn't plant him. He just ended up here like all the others of you.
For disclosure, Mather.
Mather?
Was my employer.
Mather was your employer?
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Okay, great. Nice.
And all my relatives went to press.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, good.
Mother, father, and both aunts.
Well,
took care of.
It only took him an hour to come clean. Isn't that nice? Okay. So if you had now the choice between a Christian organization or a faith orientation organization, one that associated with a religion, doesn't matter whether it was a Methodist, Lutheran, Episcopal, Jewish, Christian, whatever it was, okay, and a or an ecumenical, more ecumenical organization, which one would you choose? The
More ecumenical?
Right. And I guess what I'm hearing you say a lot is you would be more inclined to at least investigate that one, because the word I keep hearing is diversity and inclusion, right? The diversity and inclusion and price are important at that first sort of time frame where you might consider an organization. Is Mather faith-based? No.
They had a chapel built in the original facility.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the current one does, but
Okay.
there was always an Episcopal support in the background, but it was never faith-based.
Okay, I wasn't sure about Mather.
Yes.
Do you have Manor Care in there?
I do not. Should I?
Oh, they're all around.
Okay.
The whole United States.
Yeah, they are. And they are
I've got a few up
for-profit.
here.
Yeah. Again, when you see the word care in there, you know it's probably assisted living or something like that. Okay.
Oh, that's what I
So now we're going to get the next slide. We're really going to get into the meat of the conversation here, the fashion show. And full disclosure, again, Covenant is contemplating modifying their name and their corporate identity. And what we're here to do is test and look at two different concepts and slight variations. Okay? So the first one is changing Covenant retirement communities to Covenant Life. Okay, now Mather went through a change and now is Mather Lifeways, right? Okay. So again, this may, I clearly understand, Anthony, you're not, you just want to get tossed out and get out of here. I get that.
I want her to come with me.
Yeah.
I have to get his permission.
Don't afford.
Okay, so,
She's good.
and again, so all I'm looking for is a preference, Covenant Retirement Communities versus Covenant Life. Sandra,
I see Covenant Life and I think of insurance.
you do? Interesting, okay. I heard that in the last group as well.
Yeah.
Anybody else see that?
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
Would you ever associate the decision to move to a place like Covenant Village, Northbrook, as similar to an insurance? No? No, you never make that correlation? I mean, they're going to take care of me the rest of my life. Why wouldn't that be like insurance?
That's the first thing I thought.
Yeah, insurance. And you're not in the market for insurance, right? Okay. Same?
Yeah, the name change is really not that relevant to me.
Okay.
I think the logo is the only thing that would strike them different.
Okay. So what if we were to, and does everybody else kind of share the opinion that this one is really not much of an improvement?
It doesn't reflect what the organization does.
Right. Okay. So what if it was Covenant Living instead of Covenant Retirement Communities, the life versus living? If life means insurance, Covenant Living, does that do anything for you? Don?
If I saw a brochure
Yeah.
that said Covenant Living, I said, what is it?
I
Yeah.
would have said yes.
Yeah.
If
I get
was
it.
great
Yeah.
in the price range, I'd say,
Yeah.
okay, well, now
Yeah.
let's look. As
No, I
far as
understand.
The name
Yep.
itself, you know.
Again, remember, this is not a science lab, so we're really in here just mostly looking for your thoughts and your immediate perceptions. If one is feels more accessible or more inclusive, you've already painted a picture that Covenant Retirement Communities with the cross, it generally doesn't feel as inclusive as you'd like it to be, as a brand identity, as a name. Okay, so I'm wondering when you saw, Covenant Living, if that tones it down a little bit more. If you don't really want to live in a retirement community per se, or you think that a retirement community is not for you, if you saw something that said Covenant Living on a brochure, on a billboard, on a TV ad, in a newspaper or a magazine, might you say, well, what's that?
It indicates more than
Just
it
retirement
indicates a place
communities.
to stay.
Right,
Yes,
yeah.
You can live here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So who's got the drum roll sound effects on their phone? There we go. All right. So here's that's the old logo, right? Here's an adaptation of the or a contemporary version. Who's laughing? The engineer. He must understand a little bit about design.
Oh, yeah, it is.
And you're laughing because.
It's the same shape.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I don't know about that. No.
Take a look.
Sure.
Look at the shape behind the cross.
Oh, all right, because the color is much
Yeah,
darker on
The
the,
color is
but the
different,
color
but
on
the
the other
shape
is.
is
Yeah.
essentially the same.
Oh, it's always good to have an engineer in the room.
Oh, no. Why do they feel they need to have a cross?
Because it's connected to the church?
It's connected to the church, but I think the question would be when you look at the old logo
Yeah.
and you look at that concept or that one,
Yeah, same, well, it's
does that feel softer? Does it feel more?
It seems more modern.
Feels more modern.
yeah.
Yeah, the other one feels so. Just from a pure fashion perspective,
right, okay.
the old one feels old. This one feels more modern. Anybody else share that perspective? Just from a fashion perspective.
No,
Generally?
It's a softer look.
It's a softer look. Okay. Anybody else?
Conveys the same meaning.
Yeah.
It does? Yeah. Okay. So it isn't, other than its fashion characteristics, it isn't markedly or significantly different than that.
No.
That's what I'm hearing you say. I don't want to put words in your mouth. You say, so whether it's the typeface, the color, or the name, you're saying that feels old, and that feels a little bit more contemporary?
That one, to me, it says forward.
Yep.
Forward living, forward moving.
Yep.
And it's also more cheerful looking.
More cheerful looking? Less oppressive?
It's a happy cross.
It's a what? It's a happy cross?
I'm trying to figure out what it is.
I think the color is.
I know, but when I
It makes a
but I
difference,
shouldn't
too?
have to look at it. I should not have to look at it and try and figure out what it is.
It's two curved elements.
I got it.
instead of this.
Right, but I'm looking at it going, is that a number 7 with a
Oh.
line through? I'm trying to figure out, I'm spending too much time looking at the thing in gold.
Maybe they don't want you to figure it out.
Maybe they don't want me. There.
If I was seriously looking for a place, I don't think I would try to put too much brain power into analyzing that.
Right. Yeah, you just take it for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But the word covenant still leaves it, has
Yeah, I
a
agree.
religious overtone.
It does, yeah.
How about convenient living?
Interesting, because it is convenient, right? Yeah.
What is the significance of that almost rectangular shape, the gold or
Yeah.
gold shape?
You know,
It's
I-
been held by both the black background and this one.
Yeah,
What is that?
I don't know. I don't know that it is specifically from any historical connection. I don't have that answer, to be honest with you. Yeah. I mean, you know, whether it's Starbucks or Ford Motor Cars or BMW, you know, if you really stop to analyze their current brand identity versus one that was 25, 50, or 100 years old, there certainly is a predisposition by most businesses to contemporize their old brand identity, but not necessarily move away from what made them who they are, right? So the Ford logo from 1955 may initially sound like it's just like the Ford logo today, but I assure you it's probably similar, but not exactly the same. Same thing with BMW or others.
Has anybody ever said it looked like a tombstone?
I had not heard that, but there you go. The more important question, Don, is upon further reflection, do you think it looks like a tombstone?
I keep staring at it.
Yeah.
How apropos it would be.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Well, it also could be a building.
It could be
I
a
mean,
building,
that's-
right?
I see it as a building.
You do, interesting, yeah, okay. Wait a minute, that's Sharon?
The first look at that, it looked like an Asian symbol.
Ah.
Yes.
A little bit, huh?
That was my
Yeah.
first impression.
I agree with that.
Chinese or Japanese or something.
Right.
Oh, it does, so it has a little bit more of a Eastern sort of feel to it. Yeah, interesting.
Maybe the gold color would be more expensive,
Yeah, maybe,
maybe.
yeah. Mr. Toss Me Out of Here?
Doesn't do much.
Doesn't do much for you, yeah. How about Carol, you seem, given you sort of had a name recollection of Covenant Village.
I like the previous one better.
You do, huh? Okay. Phil?
I don't
Eh.
know. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I'm going to throw a little curveball at you now with the next one, and see how you react. So I'm looking for positive or negative, you know, vis-a-vis and relative to the old identity versus the new identity. What is that one? Actually, I think you like that name better. So what does that one say to you?
That says Christian because the fish.
It's a fish.
Absolutely.
Oh, there's a fish.
Oh, God, I gotta look at the line of
This is
fish.
like a Rorschach test.
I hear you. What's that?
It's like a Rorschach test. Isn't that what
Rorschach
the-
test? Yeah, the ink blot test. Yeah, it is very. You know what? It's funny because I did use that in the previous group. I mentioned that some of this is like the ink blot test,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
She caught fish
a pirate.
A pirate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think it looks more happy.
More happy.
Yeah.
A happy fish.
A happy fish.
You caught fish right away, and I'm looking at different
Yeah.
shapes, and I'm not putting them together.
You
I
didn't
saw
know?
the color.
You saw the colors? Yeah.
Primary colors reminds me of preschool.
Preschool? Yeah.
That's
The
happy.
primary colors, right?
Yeah,
Carol,
right.
Anita?
It's modern looking.
Not modern looking?
It's awfully busy.
Busy. Interesting.
4 colors.
Yeah.
I don't think it looks appropriate for a retirement community, and I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, I don't, it just,
Doesn't feel
what
it?
is it there, you know?
Unless you're a fish.
Yeah, or, no, I don't know, it looks more, I don't know what it looks like.
Ava?
I'm looking at it, and it's colorful, so it catches your eye, but I don't see a relationship to the factor.
To the factor?
Well, to what they're offering.
To their offering,
Yeah.
right.
That's good.
Okay. Yeah. Don?
I look at it, I say, is this Christian? You know, would like raise the question. But then, of course, the next question is, you know, how religious, how...
Right.
How much are they pushing the Christian
Right.
theme?
Right. So, I think it was Sandra immediately recognized that Christian fish symbolism, right? How many of you else of you did? Yeah.
Oh, boy.
No? So, of the Jewish people in the room, right? Did you see that as a Christian symbol?
No.
Yeah.
I did.
You saw it as a Christian
No,
symbol?
No, I did not. I did.
Okay. So, there was some earlier discussion regarding wanting to live in a place that is more inclusive and less exclusive, right? I heard that. Would you say that either that symbol or the old symbol relative to that symbol, which one is more or the most inclusive, or says, that it is not as Christian?
This one.
This one. Yeah.
And why is that? Just the absence of the cross? Right. So even though the cross and the fish are both Christian symbols, you feel this one symbolizes less exclusivity towards Christianity?
I think less people would realize that the fish symbol was Christian than the cross.
Right.
So you're saying that generally the cross is so immediate, right? And it may take you a little bit to figure out that this is even the fish. I mean, you were the only one that immediately got it, right? Did anybody else immediately get it? You guys did? Okay. Yeah.
Is a logo important to have? Do you need the logo?
Well, we live in a world where logos are very important, right? I mean, we live in a very logo-conscious world. What we wear, what we.
Like the Pepsi logo. That's
right.
Yeah.
It did look familiar.
Sharon?
Does it mean anything that everything is in small letters?
It
That
doesn't.
changes.
No.
Yeah, but that,
It's just a design. You understand from an engineering perspective. It's just a design approach.
I saw the letters first.
I mean, no more than when you look at the Adlers, it's in all caps, right? That's designers can do crazy design-oriented things, right? So, if you lived at a Covenant retirement community, just make believe you did, and one of these logos, either this one, that one, or the blue one of those three, which one would you feel more inclined to wear on a piece of clothing?
That one.
Yeah.
Just because it's less obvious.
Less obvious. So is it a positive to you that the Christian imagery is less obvious initially? It is important to Margot?
Because I'm Jewish.
Right.
I wouldn't wear anything that had a cross on it.
Right. Okay. Anybody else feel the same way?
Yes.
Yeah. Phil?
I just find that unattractive. If I
Unattractive.
wear something, the gold one I thought was more attractive.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And when you say attractive, is it the color or the design?
The total aesthetics of the whole thing.
All the aesthetics?
Yeah.
So what's more attractive about this one?
Well, the fish was very busy.
Yeah.
This is very understated, a little bit more classy looking.
Yeah. Classy.
Yeah.
Think this one costs more than this one?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think that's a good perception.
Yeah. Okay. So, would you be, let's try it this way. If you were the CEO of this organization, let's say you were the CEO of Covenant Retirement Communities. Anybody a former CEO? You are? Okay. Anybody, if you were the CEO of Covenant Retirement Communities and you had to make a decision one way or another, your board of directors was saying, we got to do something, okay? Your choices are keep the existing logo, that one, that one, or this one. I'm going to go around the room, and I'd like to ask you your individual thoughts. You're the CEO of Covenant Retirement Communities. Hang on. Go ahead.
Before you go ahead,
All right.
you have to tell everybody what the objective of the change is.
Well, I think the objective of the change
Name recognition.
is to, no. The objective of the change is to modernize, contemporize, and to make the brand as inclusive as possible as it pertains to attracting new residents. The goal is to look at the Covenant brand as it stands today, and there's been some feedback as you've responded that it's not inclusive enough. And it also doesn't necessarily represent everything that they do. So the goal is to contemporize it, make it more accessible, more inclusive, less community-oriented. Okay? But as the CEO, you might go back to your board and say, we're not ready to do that, or we don't want to do that. So you're the CEO, you can do whatever you want. Okay?
Not quite.
Well, in this meeting, yes, you want to do whatever you want. Maybe not in your experience. So we'll start with Arthur, and we're going to end with the deck stacker over here at Phil. So
I really prefer this one.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
I think the logos that we originally saw,
Yes.
BMW,
Yep.
Starbucks, those are all for mass marketing.
Correct.
But this is not a mass marketing
Oh
campaign.
boy, that's a great insight.
Yeah.
Terrific. That's
You're
a really
just
good
trying
point.
to, if you send out a flyer,
Yep.
saying come and see us, and you got the little logo there, okay, that's fine.
Right.
So if you go to that place, you say, oh, there's the sign right there.
Yeah.
And it's the same as this one, and they say, okay, I can turn in there.
Right.
And that's about the only thing I could think of, that you want to just
Right.
say, okay, we're here.
Right.
Come and see us. if you
Okay.
want.
All right. Don, you're the
I
CEO.
would go with that strictly as it's the most appealing.
Mhm.
But I would really be wondering, why are they pushing the symbolism?
Mhm.
I mean, they must specifically want to sell it as such.
Right.
I mean, if they had a Star of David all jazzed up in there, it would make me think twice. I'd say, well, wait a minute, I don't want to go to a Jewish community.
Right.
You know, of course, the same questions apply. How Jewish? What are we
Right.
talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
But just the fact that they got a tilt one way or the other, it's like, you know.
Right.
But if they insist on going with something religious, fine. I like that.
Right. Okay. Sir?
I would go with that one.
You would.
And the fish symbol doesn't pop out to me.
Okay.
Now, that might be because I'm colorblind.
Sharon?
Okay, I'm very visual oriented, and I noticed one or more had darker print, bolder print,
Yeah.
which I liked. And I liked that was a capital letters.
Yeah.
So I would suggest bolder print and capital letters.
Yeah.
Not that one, but capital letters and bolder print, and I
Yeah.
like the other.
But you like that symbol better.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Margot?
I guess I agree with Sharon. I don't like
Yeah.
the small letters.
You don't like the
at all.
lowercase letters?
No.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I
Ellie?
agree, I don't like, but, and somebody said that looks like Pepsi.
Yeah.
Said that- And it does, now that I look
Yeah,
at it, it
yeah,
does
yeah.
look like a Pepsi
Yeah.
symbol.
Are you a
So
Pepsi
I-
drinker?
No, only if
All
it's
those
diet.
colors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not crazy.
Si?
I would also like all caps.
Yeah. All caps or initial caps?
I would like all caps.
You would. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the logo of the fish, colorful, implies inclusivity. I have no problem with it.
Right.
I would go for this one.
Okay. Good. Excellent. Ann? Eh.
On any of, the capital and the smalls, I took a course 10 years ago, a computer course, and a woman said, the teacher would go. I mean, it was like almost all seniors, different languages,
Yeah.
and we're all sitting there. She said, take a look at your street signs. And you watch bit by bit the names of your street signs. The hardest thing to read is when somebody puts something on Facebook or an email in all capital letters.
Right.
Extremely difficult. So I pay attention when I'm
Right.
just driving around. Look at the street signs are changing. They're going back to one capital and the rest are smaller letters.
Right.
I'm going to look at that because it's the lesser of the three, and it's like it's like where I live. Somebody bought this property 4 years ago near Golf Mill, and it's ultra modern. These flags that are out there, you know, and the signs, and they're the new colors, and they're awful. They're ugly.
Right.
But the guy's making money.
Right. So is this awful and ugly?
It's telling me if you're going to go from the cross and all of a sudden you're going to go to something like that, something's going on inside that building. Are you going to completely redo what's going on in there because this is newer and it's up to date? Signal what's going on inside that building.
Is that a good thing?
Could be, could not.
Maybe they're changing for the better.
Got to find out.
Right. Well, there you go. So
Got to find out because those of us that are living there to see what's happened.
Right. All right, Sandra?
I think this one is more contemporary, but I think the original black cross, the original logo, is what it is advertising. And if they've gone this long, I don't even know how long they've been around with this logo, but I don't see any reason to change it.
You don't?
To get different perspective. Do you want people to come in and look at it because the colors are changing? I would just keep the original one.
Right. So there's no, in your mind, this isn't necessarily an improvement.
I don't think so.
Yeah, okay. Sir?
I like number 3 as the least objectionable of all 3, but I don't find it to be drawing me in.
Right. Okay.
It's attractive.
Right.
I like the colors. I don't think the fish thing is particularly important, but it's okay.
Right. So if the board of directors said to you, this is where we're going, pick one of the 3, you'd pick this one?
Yes.
Okay.
But not enthusiastically.
Okay. Phyllis?
I'd say go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, okay. And as a CEO, you can do that.
Yeah.
Phyllis?
I would also pick this one because it is the best of the 3.
Yeah.
I would capitalize it and make it more bold.
More bold, right. Okay. And Charles?
I take the gold.
You like the gold one, huh?
Yes.
What do you like about that one, sir?
I like the idea that it's very modern. And the idea is that it might tell a lot of people, hey, this is a Christian
organization.
Right.
Right. Okay.
And there's a reason for that.
Right. And you think that reason has value?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
As much as a Jewish star would.
Right. Okay. Carol?
Well, I agree with Charles in disagreement with pretty much the rest of the room. I like this one.
You do?
I just think it's more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
It gives me kind of a good feeling when I look at it. And it doesn't scream Christianity.
So it's definitely, in your mind, it's definitely an improvement over this, right? The old logo.
In my mind, yes.
Right? It's an improvement over that, and you like it better than this one,
Yes.
than the fish.
Yes.
Right.
That would be my second choice, but I
Yeah.
like the other one much better.
Okay.
The second one.
Okay. Anita?
I like this one. I think it's modern.
Yeah.
I think it's a softer looking logo.
Yeah.
And it may bring in diverse groups of people.
Right.
Rather than the first 2 with the cross that would definitely turn away Jewish people.
Right. Okay. Carol?
If they're looking for something more modern, I like this one with a capital C and an L.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would leave it as is.
You leave it as the old one? Yeah. Okay. Ava?
Of the 3, I would pick this one. I guess unfortunately, the name Covenant to me makes it more, to to one side.
Right.
And so I just wouldn't choose it, period.
Right, okay.
I'd rather have something that's more diverse.
More diverse, okay. And Philip?
I still go with the gold.
Yeah.
The other thing that we haven't really, we don't have the information on, but having been there and lived there, there's two other groups that are looking at this and we're not marketing to in this discussion. One is the donors.
Yep.
And the second one is the employees.
Right.
And employees in these organizations are a great deal more diverse
Right.
than the donor class.
Right.
So, there's a very mixed bag in here for
Right,
who
right,
we're
right.
all
Yeah.
looking towards.
No, understood. And this is not the only piece of research that we're
obviously.
doing. Yeah, we're just trying to get those. Yes, Sharon?
I wonder why they took away the retirement living underneath, which I thought tells what it is.
Mhm.
And I thought that was very important. But in your first model, it was very faint.
That one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they should have it under the other ones.
Okay. So you would prefer that with retirement living or retirement communities? Right. Okay, so now I told you you were the CEO, right? And you could make a decision. Now we're going to make believe that I'm the CEO and you're the board of directors. Right? So before you fire me, who would like to give me some advice on what I should do for a potential name change or a...
You already did.
I did?
They already did.
You did? Any other thoughts on that?
It has to say retirement living, capital letters and bold.
Okay.
Maybe
Back
to the drawing board?
Back to the drawing board? Yeah. You're not there yet, right?
No.
Yeah.
maybe something like retirement living by covenant.
Ah, interesting. Okay. That's good input.
Very good.
Anybody else? Any other thoughts?
I think it depends on what their goal is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, is their goal to have it be leaning toward the Christian community? Then, this is fine. Otherwise,
So the advice you would give me is to make sure that I understood my goal. Right. Okay. Anybody else? Thoughts? No? Okay, before we disband a little early, I'm going to go in the back with my colleague and just ask him if he's got any other questions, okay? Just give me 2 seconds. See if he's got anything he wants to hit you guys on.
oh yes, absolutely.
This I used to transcribe various things. It's kind of interesting that I did hear these discussions after.
Yes. It's very interesting.
I know I got, when I first got my first computer, this is back,
See, I've got to build an elevator.
when I started teaching.
But I think they changed,
I got
yeah.
6 pieces of a beautiful monitor. Last week, they had a spring one here. We worked with a museum here 9 years ago. So we went over to their office and talked to them and stuff like that. Pictures over there. That's cool.
Right.
That's just getting some information.
See, now the line is
By the time it comes, at least I gained some valuable information.
See, I was thinking, you take the covenant, you got
Yes, I didn't even consider this.
But that makes
All right, we have one more question that we want to explore a little bit with you, and that is, there was some discussion about the word covenant, connecting with that bond or agreement. You remember I talked about that a little bit. How powerful or how meaningful do you think, in other words, if Covenant Retirement Communities decided in part of their marketing strategy was to exploit what is already in their name, and exploit is not the right term, but take advantage of what's already in their name. So rather than leaving it to just, it's part of the Covenant Church or it says religious, if it meant more or it was defined more by what it ultimately means, and that is that bond or that agreement or that connection.
I think that's more positive.
You do?
I definitely do, because it makes it less religious and more, you know, okay, this is a bond that we're trying to create among people.
Right, right. Yes, and I think, you know, the bond between the organization and you as the customer, or the bond between, you know, us as neighbors, right? You know, there's something in there that may have, you know, a stronger connotation than just a church, you know, related affiliation.
Well, what if their target market is to get people that are Christians into this community and say, that's us.
Yeah.
We take Christians here. If you're something else, sorry.
You know, it's the 21st century. I understand that. Yeah, I understand your challenge, and I appreciate you challenging me on that. That's great. But you know, I think, you know, it is the 21st century. Live in a very changing world.
Very diverse. You've got a lot of people.
Right. But if we take away, I think the question really, or the idea is, you know, this would be the last time, regardless of what name or logo we come up with. This would be the first and the last time you see it on a screen like that all by itself, right? So, as Don would say, or Phil was talking about, or any of you, you know, you're going to get a full message associated with this particular organization, whether it's Covenant Village of Northbrook or it's you know, a different covenant-related message. It'll either be on, you know, a direct mail piece. It'll be on a billboard. It'll, you know, it'll have some other messaging around it to help you understand who they are and what they do. The question becomes, you know, if we really try to explain or make a direct connection between the name Covenant and the bond and agreement that it represents, would you see that as having a more palatable meaning to you as a potential consumer?
Well, I think it makes a strong statement.
Right.
And it is not a statement of inclusion. It is a statement of relationship with a religious organization.
Right.
If that's what they want, stick with the word covenant.
Right.
If it's not what they want, change it.
Right. Okay.
See, there's another nursing home down there, Bella Vista, that was just sold out again, and the name has changed. But if you want to stick with Covenant for whatever reason, how about looking at, well, you're not going to say later, I don't know how you would term later years or retirement, but you are going to have the opportunity to come in and independent living, if necessary. You're going to have to get the words. You may require to move on to assisted living.
Right.
If you're dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's, not all places take care of that. Then you may go into the infirmary, and we have medical care for you if you require it.
Right.
The covenant is, it's pulling it all together.
Right.
Not just necessarily the residents, but your care.
Okay, gotcha.
If that makes any sense.
Sure, it does, yeah. Anybody else? Any other?
Well, if you want to use the term covenant, in a more traditional sense, you could use the word bond.
Right.
So you're building a bond between residents and the community.
Right. Got it. Anybody else have that thought? Or connection? See that connection? Positive? Yeah. Okay. Well, this has been fun. I appreciate all of your insights and challenging me and the organization to, you know, think a little bit about what we do and how we do it and the way in which we do it. So I hope you all went out and voted today.
Not yet.
Not yet, you're going there next, right? Okay, good. What's that?
Are you taking us to lunch? Everybody has to vote.
No, you're getting a stipend, and then you can take yourself to lunch.
It was very hard.
What's that?
Early and often.
Early and often, right, all right. Well, thank you so much, be safe out there today.
Good luck getting home.
Yeah, good luck getting home, I know, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Good to keep our name in.
As a remembrance, thanks, man. So what is my phone?
M&A.
Oh, you did, right?
But they have to,
Yeah, it was very tight vote. The board was.
Say hi to all the kids.
Thank you, Mr. Engineer, appreciate it.
Thank you for making it nice and quick.
Good, yeah, exactly.
Don't ask the spill man. I gotta ask somebody else. Where you living at?
oh, that's funny.
New England Village?
Oh, that's right, in my.
I found out of all the market research.
Oh,
That's the
store.
stuffiest.
That's
Yeah?
The stuffiest room.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Because then out in the hall, there's like, what's your place name?
Oh, sure, sure.
You're right over here doing art.
Stuffy?
It's very stuffy, yeah. Go on, if I get the room.
It's a small room for this crowd.
I know, I felt very packed in.
Yeah, I don't think you always over-recruit, you're never sure if everybody's gonna show up, so.
Yeah, this might have been good for 12 people, but.
Where you're supposed to put your.
Yeah, thanks, appreciate your time. Thank you, it was appreciated, very nice. Thank you, Charles. Yeah, see, now you can go in. Thank you so much.
I'm
Appreciate
sorry, I
it.
won't be using our retirement village.
That's okay. I don't blame you, that's all right, thank you.
Yeah, oh, it's great. It's great. It even holds my iPad when I travel.
Yeah, that's true. You can't just hope to go out on a journey from your,
I mean, it can happen. But right.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Charles, take care.
I'm waiting for Chuck. Oh. I'm gonna go to the ladies' room.
Go ahead.
I don't know for this company. Thanks for coming. The money.
Thank you. That was good.
Good.
Yeah. that went
Good
well.
turnout, anyway.
It was a good turnout, it went well.
Good.
Nice people.
You got some information you
Got some
needed? Oh, that's
information.
what you want.
That's always the key, right?
Yeah, that's.
So I would say it was a success, thank you.
Oh,
yes.
wonderful.
Now, I wish I could get on an earlier flight, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Really? Is there one earlier? You never know.
Nothing is, everything is sold out because everybody wants to get out of Dodge before the weather.
Where are you headed?
Hartford, Connecticut.
Hartford. Oh, you're going the wrong way, aren't you?
I'm going into the beast.
Ooh. Are you getting another nor'easter? Have you
Fourth
been-
one.
You poor people.
It's
Oh,
awful.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's
Have
usually
problems
not this